One, closed session. Item A, conference with legal counsel, public employee discipline / dismissal / release pursuant to Government Code Section 54957. Do I have a motion to go into closed session? I'll give it. Mr. Shangover? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Lansdorf. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Ayes have it. We're going in at about 2 minutes after 5:02. Motion to come out of closed session.
So moved.
Do I have a second? I'll second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
The time is, looks like it's 5:30. Council, would you give a public report on action taken in closed session?
Yes. On item 3.1A, conference with legal counsel, public employee dismissal, discipline, or release. The board voted 3-1 to relieve Steve Perez of his active duties pursuant to paragraph 2B of his employment contract. The votes were aye, Dennis Shingledector, Ed Morrison McKay, Olaf Lansgard, nay, Byron Lennon.
Moves us to item 4, adjournment. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Have a second? Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 4-0. Thank you.
Camera. No. Okay.
Here.
General Manager Steve Perez, here. Assistant General Manager Public Works Superintendent John Houghton, not here. District Accountant Rob Griffin. School Accountant Alice Kern.
President.
Board Secretary is
Move to item 2, entertain a motion to approve the agenda. I'll give a motion to approve the agenda. Second. Moved and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. 3-0. Brings us to item 3, public comments. At this time, any person may address the board on any subject within the district's jurisdiction which is not on the agenda. However, any non-agenda matter will be referred to staff for report and/or action at a subsequent board meeting. And no action can be taken on any such item discussed unless the action has been authorized under section 54954, period 2, open parentheses, lowercase b, close parentheses of the government code. Any person may also address the board on any agenda matter at the time the matter is discussed, prior to board consideration and action. Speakers are requested to limit comments to 5 minutes. Anyone like to address the board?
My name is Russ Williford. Will you tell us why you terminated the general manager? The question.
For public comments, we can't comment on this question.
All right.
That's baloney.
I feel you've made some bad business and personnel decisions, failing to follow the will of the people and the voters on lighting and sewer bills. This will cement the recall effort. It'll go forth. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Albert Gatton. I just kind of like to piggyback off of what Russ was saying and ask for the board at least some point, I know you may not be able to do it now, but come and tell the people why you decided to go ahead and let our general manager go. And if you can't give us some kind of solid reasoning as to how we're going to be in a better position with him gone and whatever replacement that you're going to have, and come out and tell the people honestly and directly, how are we better off with this new decision than we were before? We're in the middle of a crisis as far as the drought and having to conserve water. We haven't heard anything really as to why this action was even taken, other than in the papers we hear about personal vendettas. And that's not how our town needs to be run, against personal vendettas and issues all behind the scenes. We needed to come out in the public eye, and he needed to tell us why he was relieved and how we're going to be better off now than we were before. And if you can't do that, then it makes perfect sense as to why there's a recall effort and why you guys need to be replaced if you can't come out and tell us how we're better off.
And you work for a good point.
I'm Greg Williams. I want to tell you guys why exactly you released Mr. Steve Perez. It's the same reason you guys give one-word and two-word answers to the things that you're going to talk about later tonight. It's a bunch of crap. I moved here 4 years ago looking for a nice place to live and call home. I got a place that's a circus. I got Larry, Mo, and Curly up there doing stupid stuff. Not representing these people. You look out here and you have a closed meeting and you got 20 people show up and you kind of have this face, what are these guys doing here? It's because we care. Obviously you guys don't care about anything but your wallets.
I'd just like to address the board. I understand that during public comments you guys can't enter into dialogue and per the Brown Act, I understand that. But when you get into the regular meeting at 7 o'clock, on item 7, comments and presentations, under item 1, director's comments, all three of you can, during your director's comments, address this. You can tell the public what's going on in this agency and what changes are being made and why they're being made. And I hope that the three of you will take an opportunity during the director's comments to address those. I want to go back to where, a lot of things, I sat on this board for 15 years and had my share of angry crowds in here, wanting my head for different things that we would make decisions on. And, Ed, I know you experienced it back in the 90s, with the assessment districts and everything else, but, after a amount of time, the crowds went away, people got tired of it, things settled down, and the old saying is that usually in a boardroom with the RCSD or any government agency, you could fire a shotgun inside the room and not hit anybody because nobody's usually here. But here we are 8 months later, and this room is still packed out to capacity at every meeting. That should tell you guys something, that the community is upset. They're not going away, and as soon as you start taking that serious and addressing the concerns out here, then things might settle down and get better. But until that time, you need to tell us what's going on, and you need to explain your actions at your 5 o'clock meeting when you get a chance in the director's comments. Anyone else? Okay, we'll move to item 4, closed session. Under closed session, we have 5.
You may identify them by agenda number if that is your preference, President. Okay.
1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, and 1E. Entertain a motion to go into closed session. Second. Moved and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Ayes have it. 3-0. So moved and seconded to come out of closed session. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Three oh. Council, please report to the public.
In closed session,
One meeting, please.
in closed session, the board discussed item A, one potential case, item C, and item E, no reportable action.
We'll take a 5-minute recess till 7 p.m. and we'll get started. At this time, any person may address the board on any subject within the district's jurisdiction which is not on the agenda. However, any non-agenda matter will be referred to staff for a report and/or action at a subsequent board meeting. And no action can be taken on any such item discussed unless the action has been authorized under section 54954, period, number 2, open parentheses, lowercase b, close parentheses of the government code. Any person may also address the board on any agenda matter at the time that matter is discussed prior to board consideration and action. Speakers are requested to limit comments to 5 minutes. Would anyone like to address the board?
We'll get the fun stuff out of the way, because I know it's get crazy. I want to let everybody know that the weekly cleanups for the Rosamond Community Cleanup Project are continuing on Sierra Highway every Tuesday night at 6:30 p.m. We meet up and spend a couple of hours out cleaning. There will be no Saturday cleanup this month because we are having our first annual Volunteer Appreciation Day. Anyone who has supported, sponsored, volunteered is welcome to attend. It is also open to the public. Tickets are available for $5 per person. We will have food, live music, raffles. It's at 1 p.m. on Saturday at Hummel Hall. Let everybody know the Rosamond Appreciation Day at Jet Hawks is going to be held next Tuesday, August the 18th. Rosamond Community Watch Program will have a table there, and we are selling tickets to the game for $5 each. If you're interested in that, we can get those for you as well. Our next Community Watch meeting will be on Wednesday, August 19th at Hummel Hall, 6 p.m. And also to let everyone know, Community Watch is doing Project Backpack. We are collecting school supplies for local kids. You can sponsor a backpack, which is a completely filled backpack for $10 per person per backpack, or you can donate necessary supplies. And we do have a list of the things that we need, and anybody who's interested can speak with me after the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, please.
I'd like the board to reconsider their decision that they took in their 5 o'clock meeting. This board and this town have enough problems going on that we don't need to listen about recalls in Rosamond or all the people having to show up at a board meeting. Just like you to reconsider it. I think Mr. Perez was one of our better managers that we've had, and I don't see anybody in the wings to replace him. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. I would like you guys to reconsider your decision. And I'm here because I just heard about this today when I got off of work. And I only know Steve Perez for like maybe 6 months. But he got us a building here in town to try to get the kids off of dope. And anyways, without him, we wouldn't have been able to have that building. And I just want to thank him and do everything I can to support him. Thank you.
I just have a statement. My thing is, so you made the decision to let the most qualified, the most knowledgeable, and someone who cares about the entire community go. Well, it's the first decision I've seen you make in here since I've been coming to meetings. I've seen made by you people who People who have lived in this community for a long time know why, and they do intend to fight. I pity you for your judgments and the audacity for which you make them. You will not be able to blame any downfall to Steve. It will fall squarely on your shoulders. So, if you want to reconsider, I highly say yes. But if not, that's for you. And it's all on you. It's not going to be on him. And I hope you think about it.
I hope I'm at the right place here. I just moved to Rosamond and I'm on SSI. They have imposed a $40 sewer bill on me. So now my water bill is $139 this month. There is no way that I can even buy food or live or pay the rest of my bills with this sewer bill imposed on me. Most of my other companies have a lifeline program. Does Rosamond have any kind of an assistant program for somebody who's disabled on a fixed income that I can't afford this water bill, this sewer, the imposition of this new sewer law. That's $40 extra a month plus my other bills. I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. I either eat or pay the sewer bill. So what am I to do at this point?
Was that the question?
We can check
You
with
can't answer.
county facilities are on holidays for a second. We can check with that.
Because all the people in this office told me to come to this meeting that this was how I was supposed to resolve all of this.
I have one question for you. Do you rent?
No, I own my
Oh, you
house.
own your house.
And I've only lived there about a year, and it seems like every couple of months, it goes from the property tax to the water to this and that, and it's bouncing back and forth, which is completely unstable. I can't handle that. I get a certain amount of money every month. I have to delegate it enough just to be able to eat. And imposing a $40 sewer bill on me has completely blown me out of the water. Where do I go from here?
We can look into that. As far as what the county might have kind of services.
Right, we can see if the county has anything to offer them, but as far as offering additional information, is what we can offer.
Oh, no.
And so where do I go from
If you
there?
want to leave your contact information, I can look into it tomorrow and give you a call back.
Okay, thank you.
First of all, my name is Terry Fay, and I would like to thank Mr. Landgard for his quick response to my signature on the beginning paperwork to the recall. Secondly, it's actually questions, and I'm understanding from Mr. McKay from the earlier open session that questions cannot be answered from the board, but I'm wondering why the board is not completed. And I'm also wondering why, since you have fired a general manager, why do we not have someone sitting in his chair tonight? Do you have any intention of filling his chair? And when? Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Roger Hensley. First off, I want the whole public to know the second man from your right up here stood out here in the audience and complained that the district was buying iPads for the board members. A few minutes ago, he happily accepted an iPad from the Community Service District. And I really want to know, why did you do that when you complained about it last year? Nice smirk. The next thing is you're costing the public a whole lot of money. You already have talked to somebody, you know who you're hiring, I know who you're hiring myself. You guys are really screwing up. I can't understand how you can say you're for the Brown Act, but you come into a meeting and already know what you're going to do. Does that mean you haven't communicated with each other, or you only do it 2 at a time? And then go to the next. Does that violate the Brown Act? The other thing is I've been here to this meeting and I've asked. You guys ran on a forum. You had a small group of people voted for you. They did not vote for you to fire that man right there. They voted for you to come in here and find out what was going on. You ran on a platform, and I have asked for that to be on the agenda. To answer those questions that you ran on. Those questions have never been put on the agenda. You have not answered them, and you have fired the general manager now. So you have not answered to the people that are here all the time, and you have voted against what they've asked you to do every single time except for the last meeting. You did one thing right. But I want to know why my information hasn't been put on the agenda yet, Mr. McKay, because you're the one who puts it on there. Can I get an answer? No, I didn't think so.
Thank you.
Now we know what's going on. We don't know that.
Or anyone else who would like to address the board? Okay. We'll move to item 7, comments and presentations. Number 1, director's comments. Anyone have any reports?
Just real briefly, August 20th, that's this Thursday coming up, is the Rosamond Municipal Advisory Council meeting, 7 o'clock, is in Hall Hall. That's pretty much our town hall, for those of you who don't know, where you can come air out anything you want to, anytime, anyhow. That's what we're there for. We generally hear from the Kern County Sheriff. We hear from the CHP when they're there. And of course, the Kern County Board of Supervisors representative is there. Our scheduled speaker for this week, or this next week, is Gatton. He's the CEO of the Palmdale Hospital Medical Regional Center. Did I say that right? Anyway, the Hospital of Palmdale. And hopefully he will be there. I know he's got a very busy schedule. If he's able to be there, it'd be great to have your input. As you know, we don't have an urgent care center. We have Dr. DeJesus no longer practicing here in town. We don't have a doctor. Anything we can do to encourage people to get here to town, find out what we can do to help them, I suppose, would be good. Or find out what they're doing, what they're offering, would be good to hear from you. And so you know what's going on in your employee. So hope to see you there for that. Also this Sunday coming up at 1:30 p.m. There's an open house at 1746 Locust Street. That's right across from the Chambers of Commerce. That's for the new church that opened up, the Immaculate Heart of Mary Church, located at 1746 Diamond Street, 1:30. There's an open house.
What has this got to do with water?
Where they're actually going to feed you and give you some water. Yes, right.
No.
So you're all welcome to come to that.
No.
I'm going to respond to some of your concerns under Director's comments. I actually have some written here, but I'm going to read somebody else's comments that comes off of an invoice that the district got last month, and the directors were all given a copy of the invoice and the comment on the bottom of the invoice. But before I read that, do not go away. Employees and public, do not go away. I won't.
We can't afford to.
Now, I'm going to read you, this is off an invoice from Calandry Farms, and it's from John Calandry. Steve, and each of the directors was given this a couple weeks ago, I believe. Steve, I was happy to do this work for the Rosamond Community Services District. In the past, I always thought they were doing a good job in Rosamond. You know my family has a dear spot for Rosamond and its citizens. If my memory serves me well, which it may not, just being honest, I believe Dad helped support your library. Anyway, I am so sad now the current board has treated, how the current board has treated you. I pray the community will rally around you in the future. Please accept this bill at no charge as my support for the RCSD and the community. And then on the back, a little PS. Steve, I would like you to present this to the board if possible. Thank you again for your continuous work for Rosamond. Joe Calandry.
Thank you.
That's who they fired. My sentiment on what has been happening in the past and what is happening tonight.
I'd just like to thank you for all for coming. Do we have any presentations? We'll move to item number 9, informational items. Go to that. Number 1, legal update.
Nothing for open session.
General Manager's report.
I don't have one.
Item 3, Assistant General Manager and Public Works Superintendent John Houghton. John Houghton is out of state. We won't have a report from him. We'll move to item 10, discussion and action items. Item A, discussion and action to adopt resolution 2015-17, support the nomination of Director Kathleen Tigers as the Association of California Water Agencies President.
I think I would move to table that.
I so moved.
We have a motion over here before you, Mr. Lennon, to table. Do we have a second?
I would note we may have a timing issue. If you table it, you may lose your vote. I don't know for certain when these must be returned. Is it September? Oh, okay, it can be tabled then. I will now shut my mouth.
Well, don't have meetings with your partner up there.
Do we have a second on the table?
Let Shingle down here you.
Motion dies for lack of second, Mr. Quinn.
I make the motion that we approve resolution 2015-17.
Do we have a second? Motion dies for lack of second.
Wonder why.
Go to item B, discussion and action to adopt resolution 2015-18, responding to the grand jury final report prepared by the County Services and Special Districts Committee of the 2014-15 Kern County Grand Jury.
Before you tonight for consideration is resolution 2015-18 in response to the grand jury's final report prepared by the 2014-15 Kern County Grand Jury. We went through this at the last meeting. If it's the board's pleasure, I would recommend we go directly to questions and comments unless you would like me to read the responses.
Okay, we'll go to questions and comments. First of all, let me get a motion. Do I have a motion to adopt the resolution 2015-18?
So moved.
Mr. Lansdorf moves. Do I have a second? Mr. Shingle seconds it. Okay, public discussion. Anyone from the public want to discuss any items on item B?
I just want to say you're costing the district more money again doing this. You haven't answered the questions. You think the grand jury is a joke. You're going to find out they're not a joke. They know what they're supposed to be doing, and they're supposed to be taking care of you. And since we have an attorney on the board, guess what? We're going to litigate everything that comes across this board, I guess.
Thank you. Anyone else? Call for a roll call vote.
Aye.
Aye. No.
Yes.
May I say?
Yes, go ahead.
Point of order.
I didn't talk to you. I will personally include my response to the grand jury and make that available to the public at our next regular meeting.
The motion passed 3-1, Director Glennon voting no.
Item C, discussion and action to adopt resolution 2015-19 in support of filing notice of categorical exemption with the State Water Resource Control Board Division of Drinking Water. Do I have a motion?
I'm getting smart.
This item is time sensitive.
Places for the old fashioned.
I'll make a motion.
Is that a motion to approve?
Motion
Just
to
checking.
approve. Do we have a second? I'll second it. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion from the public?
Doesn't do any good.
Okay. Call for roll call vote. Okay, what was your?
The president asked for discussion.
No, he has the public, not the assessors. Okay, motion in a second.
What's your discussion?
I just had a question about, here's where we're trading water with Rosamond Water District, or Rosamond Water just wheeling water through our, that's supposed to be, there's be a switch change, is that right?
That is what it appears to be.
Okay. That's the question.
Again, he's not familiar with the agenda items. Start with you now for vote.
Yes.
Okay, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Aye.
Dr. Schindler?
Yes.
Dr. Lemon?
Yes.
President Wallace absent.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Latest item D, discussion and action to approve the first supplemental and amended trust indenture by and between Rosamond Community Service District and MUFG Union Bank. Previously, Union Bank of California, successor to Union Bank related to $29,655,000, assessment district number 91 or 1991-3, limited obligation improvement bonds.
Before you is a resolution 2015-20, providing for a first supplemental and amended trust indenture under sections 12.01 and 12.02 of the original indenture to modify and amend the indenture to allow the district to access and utilize funds in the acquisition and construction fund for pursuing and collecting delinquent assessment installments and prosecuting foreclosure proceedings in assessment district 1991-3. This will allow the district to continue prosecuting its foreclosure proceedings in order to collect delinquent assessment installments. As of now, the administrative fund for this assessment has been depleted, and these funds are necessary in order to continue to pursue delinquent assessments. And that is before you in paper format.
And I had a couple questions. First of all, people who hold the bonds have to approve this agreement for it to be effective.
Correct.
Do we have to wait for them to do that, or?
Yes. We approve it, we send it out to them for their consideration and approval.
And then that's when it becomes
Correct.
final.
Correct.
And the other thing is we're actually going to, we have some money set left over for construction that we're going to actually use to pay attorneys to go collect on the foreclosure.
Correct.
And our timing is only have like a year left of the statute of limitations, or?
No. Statute of limitations is 4 years after the bond terminates. So when the bond matures, you then have 4 years thereafter.
It hasn't terminated, it's not terminated. But you're recommending you approve this?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2015-20 as stated in the agenda.
Do we have a second? I'll second the motion. It's been moved and second. Any discussion from the board? Public discussion. I just
the action you're taking tonight, is that going to affect the maturity date for this, for that assessment district? In other words, I know that this assessment district is getting ready to mature, and therefore those fees will be dropping off people's property taxes very shortly. But is this action going to push that date out?
I think some of them call for the council.
Speak up.
No. Yes, I'll answer the question. The answer is no.
I just have a quick comment. I've had a lot of public speaking classes, and I have really good hearing. I have a really difficult time hearing you guys. Okay, so if I could recommend that you bring your mics closer and make sure you speak into the mics clearly, because I can't hear you, okay? So it's hard to really understand what's going on the board if we can't hear you. And there shouldn't be any whispering, by the way. Okay, thank you.
Any other public comments? Call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Needs a roll call vote, it's a resolution.
We just have a vote here, I don't have a roll call.
Sorry.
All right. Roll call vote, please.
Director Lansford,
Aye.
Director Schickelberger,
Yes.
Director Lennon,
Yes.
Vice President Wallace absent, President McKay.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Item E, discussion regarding changing the regular board meeting to once a month.
This was an item that I have been in discussion with staff about whether there was a need for bi-monthly board meetings. It would, a singular meeting per month would allow staff to spend less time preparing for board meetings and more time doing the work and business of the district. This was a recommendation by Mr. President.
Is this for discussion?
Do you have any public discussion?
Yes, on going to meetings once a night, once a month, is not a wise decision as far as I'm concerned. The reason for 2 meetings a month is to give the public a chance to come here and address their elected officials. 2, these meetings are not for the staff's convenience, these meetings are for the public's convenience. And 3rd, if you have 1 meeting a month, you guys will start your meeting at 7 o'clock and you'll be going to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning trying to cover all the business you have to cover in 1 meeting. You need to keep it at 2 meetings, that way the meetings can be kept relatively short, and 2, the public has 2 chances a month to come in here and see what their elected officials are up to and voice their concerns and their comments. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, my only comment on having 1 meeting a month, many of the issues are time sensitive on a monthly basis. And if you have 1 meeting a month, then there's really no time for the public to respond to provide you our input for that decision before the time restraint is up. So realistically, early in the month, you should have on the agenda items, the items give us an opportunity to respond, provide our feedback and input, which gives you a chance to review your decision before the next meeting, when you can actually present your official position on it before you make your vote prior to whatever the issue is. So you not only meet your time structure, but it also gives the public an opportunity to properly respond in time before you make your decision. So that's my feeling on the subject. Thank you.
Anyone else like to discuss this item? We'll move to item F. Discussion and action to change meeting nights put this on, and I would like to propose to the board that we change the meeting nights to the first Tuesday and the third Tuesday of every month. First and third.
Is that okay with the council?
Yes.
That is fine with me. If we're going to make that change, it's part of the administrative handbook. I believe that we need to come back with a resolution for formal action, but that can be done at the next meeting.
And the reason for that, I think, is a couple of reasons that I know of. Is that at least two of our members are pastors.
Really?
Including Al Wallace. And that's a nice unique habit.
Speak up.
For the audience edification, this one is on.
It's on.
Testing. Anyway, I'll just speak on it. At least two of our directors are Wednesday nights are church nights that they'd like to be able to attend with their flocks, if you will. And I would have no opposition to change it Tuesday nights as long as other directors aren't inconvenienced.
You can simply give direction to staff to bring back a resolution if that is the board's pleasure.
It says a vote here on this.
We need a resolution to change the administrative handbook. I apologize, I didn't see that change.
Mr. Lynn, do you have any discussion?
I like it Wednesday nights. I think it's important for the current staff, the current newspaper, that we have it on Wednesday night.
I would recommend we have staff make a resolution for the Tuesday night, first and third.
Before we do that, let's ask for public discussion, moving the meeting nights to first Tuesday and third Tuesday.
So my comment is, prior to the board, we've been here, we're in August now. So if we have pastors that have to change their date, didn't anybody know this prior to taking a position as a board member?
Good question. Good question.
Yeah, obviously.
So why is this a question now?
You can change your meeting dates, that's something we can do.
We don't want to.
We can change the times.
But if the community wants it on Wednesdays, the second and fourth Wednesday, why would we change it just for one person, to accommodate one person? Two people?
Yes.
Oh, we have two pastors on our board?
We do.
Who is that? You don't mind me asking.
Once already.
Director McKay, Director Wallace.
Oh, Director Wallace is a pastor?
Yes.
But he's not here to let us know if that's what he wants. Is that
He's
the case?
spoken about it in the past.
It'd probably be better to make a vote on this when he is here so that we can hear what you would like.
Yeah, we're making a resolution, we're going to hear from you, that's good.
Oh,
Okay.
good. In other words, Steve, you shut up, sit down.
Mr. President, you guys changed meeting nights once already. Folks have changed the meeting nights. Times? Not the nights.
Direct staff to bring back a resolution to do that.
I just have a comment. It's already hard enough to get everybody that's joining us for these meetings to come. And it's good that they're already on a schedule to come to the meetings. We've got press here, and everybody's pretty much set. So if they knew that the meeting nights were already on Wednesdays for the board position, they needed to think about that before they ran. Not that we don't want their input, but they have to make sure that their schedule changes to accommodate for what the needs of the people are.
I'd like to jog the board's memory a little bit, that when you had the proposals the last time, it was originally changing the times, but the motion that was made that night was to not only change the times, but to change the date and the times of the month. And if I'm not mistaken, I think one of the big obstacles is that the Valley Press and the Mojave Desert News could not be here on the proposed nights, the first and I believe third Tuesday, because it conflicts with them being at meetings at other municipalities. So by doing this, the press wouldn't be here. And also, if you're a pastor and you have obligations on Wednesday night, you shouldn't have run for the board to begin with, because this has been set in stone forever. It's been the second and fourth Wednesday of the month, and you know, it's a well-known fact before any of you guys ran for election. Thank you.
What I have to say probably won't make a whole hell of a lot of difference to you guys. We set up our schedule around you. When we started our Tuesday night cleanups, it was because your meetings were on Wednesday and we want to be here. That entire road right there, those are all community watch members. And we're out there on Tuesday night. So if you change your meetings, there's only 6 of us. Is it going to matter that we will not be able to attend any more of your meetings? It may not matter to you, but it does matter to us.
Anyone else? Item G, discussion regarding the need for an interim general manager. Mr. Glenn.
No. I had this put on here because I was frustrated with the discussion of this in closed session, on ongoing discussion. It may seem like it's not germane now, but I think a couple of the items still are. Number 1, and I wrote this for tonight, okay? I realize the contract negotiated with our current general manager opened the door to hiring an interim general manager at any time to assume the current general manager's role. Number 2, doing so at this time will result in increased costs to our budget that has not been included. And just so you know, the general manager's contract, he will continue to receive pay and benefits for the next year, even though he will not be working for us. So it would require additional funds. Would we be hiring the interim general manager because the workload has increased? No. Or because of the lack of trust with our current general manager? The answer now is clear. It was a lack of trust, not a need for someone to help the general manager. Would said interim general manager assume the function of searching for a new general manager when our current general manager contract expires? We're facing that tonight. We are in need of a general manager, interim or otherwise. I believe this discussion should be an open session, an opportunity for the public to weigh in. I also would like all advisory, ad hoc, or standing committees selected or appointed in open public session with the opportunity of the public to weigh in. I'm referring to any structure to hire a general manager, any structure to hire an interim general manager, should be something that you know who the people are that are doing that, what board members or who it is. There's no need to pursue this because we're not in the process now of looking for an interim general manager to assist our general manager, or our general manager assist him. We're looking for somebody to do the job. And I know the staff can handle it for a period of time. We have a good staff here. And that's why I said, staff, hang in there. And there is a possibility for change, but it rests with the public. Yes. You're the ones that can make a change at RCSD. One vote up here, 2 votes up here cannot make a change.
I just have one question, and I'm just kind of curious on what grounds it was that you fired Mr. Perez.
It's not appropriate to.
It's not.
I
don't know, there's a lot of interested people.
Very
to discuss personnel matters.
He's not personnel.
He's a general manager.
He's an employee.
He works for the.
He works for us.
Okay, you're answering to the community. I just wanted to hear what your comment was. Thank you.
I got a question for the guy who handles the money. Do we have the money to pay somebody interim? The answer was no. Did you guys have any kind of plan? Olaf, it's not a funny deal. This is serious.
Just giggles.
It's not fun.
Did you guys have a plan when you let go of the general manager, what you're going to do in the interim?
No comment.
We have a plan?
Yeah. You don't have a boss. For all these employees that are here, do not have a boss right now. You are not their boss. You don't go to them and tell them what to do. The general manager is the person who does that. Did you have a plan to have somebody there?
What a goofball.
There's a plan already in place of policies. There is someone who will take over as the general
Did
manager.
you guys have a plan when you fired this man to take care of it?
We have somebody who will step up.
Oh, you had a meeting then. That's what you had a
Point of order.
Good job, Ollie. Thank you.
President, I want to know if you guys had a plan before you fired this man.
We have policies that are set in place.
What policy? Who steps up and takes his place in the policy?
The assistant.
Just like the vice president steps in and for the United States, who steps up and takes care of management tomorrow morning when people show up to work?
Tomorrow morning, it's going to be Lizette.
Is that the policy?
No. The policy is that we have an assistant general manager who is out of state on a family affair. When he comes back on Monday morning, he will run the district. In between that, the next person in the line of succession is Lizette.
What happens tomorrow? This business is closed right now because nobody has the policy. Does the policy call for Lizette to step in?
Yes.
No. It does?
Yes.
In the paperwork?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Can I say that it was transparency? Big word, everyone use it. I want to see it. I want it known. Because this is what was voiced to me, that this board was going to be transparent, that this community was going to know what you were doing and not doing. Now I'm seeing that that's kind of ho-hum and people questioning, so I'd like to see that transparency come back out. Thank you very much.
We may not see it, but we know what they're doing.
Anyone else?
I'd just like to say it's very disrespectful, all of you, to sit there and laugh at everybody with a little smirk on your face when they're trying to make a difference. Not the bad difference, the good one.
Anyone else? We'll move to item 8. Discussion regarding Stage 3 parameters of the Water Conservation Ordinance 2009-1. Director Lansford.
Thank you, Director McKay. The reason I asked to have that put on the agenda, and I still need to have that done, is, as you all know, we adopted, I guess 3 years ago, standards for what happens when you go into a Stage 3 alert as far as the drought conditions goes. And they're very structured for somebody who's not watering in the desert. Doesn't really deal with what we need to do as far as what we need to, the goals we need to achieve. The goals we have now is what, a 28% reduction in water use from 2015 to 2013. And I would like to see something that says, it's up to you. If you have a backyard lawn and you want to cut it out, that's up to you. If you want to cut out 25% of your lawn area, that's up to you. As long as you're reaching the goal of 28%, helping us reach that goal of 28%, I think that needs to be something we write in there. So that's our overarching goal as far as stage 3. We're not going to go out there and tell people, we're not going to be the water police, that no, you can only water on Tuesday and Friday, or because you're on the odd numbers, or your Wednesdays and Saturdays because you're on the even number. That's not the job of the district. I don't think it's the job of the State Water Resources Board, who took control of water for the first time ever in California in 2013. That's not, without a shot being fired, the state's snooping in your home. Now people want to say, well, can't you look at our meters and tell us whether we're using too much water, or doing this, or whether the water's on at the wrong time, or at the wrong place? I don't think that's the job, and I don't want to be a police state. I don't think that's something we need to be trying to achieve. I want to see something that says, look, we trust you. You know we have a water problem. If you have a reason you need to have more water on, obviously we should be able to work with that. If you're going to garden or something like that, or if you have a large family, obviously those things need to look at. But if you have, if you can otherwise meet the goals of 3% reduction, then that should be something we should trust you with. That's not something we should tell you. We're going to look at this and make sure you're doing that. And that's what I'd like to see put into the resolution.
Speed it up. Any public discussion?
Do you want a resolution brought back?
I would like I think it's a resolution that's, that goes to the state. So we have to modify that and say, look, state, this is what our thing looks like. We can put some of the things in there that we do. For example, Mr. Wardlaw was mentioning he switched from, he has, not bubblers, but drip lines. And things like that. We don't have to be very technical to everybody. If you use drip lines, or are they going to do this or going to do that? I think people should be trusted. That needs to be the overarching. That needs to be stated.
Number one, I know where you're coming from, sitting on the board, that you don't want to be the water police. Nobody sitting on this board wants to be the water police. But when the state of California, our governor, tells us that you will reduce your watering to 2 times a week, to 25 minutes each time you water for outside watering, that you will reduce your water down to a certain level. Where do you come off, Director Lansgard, telling the public to disobey a state mandate by the governor of the state?
He's an attorney, he can do whatever he wants.
The thing is that we are in a stage 3. You can't leave, you want to smirk, that's fine, but you can't leave it up to people to just do things on their own. You have to educate the public. Sitting up there, you have the opportunity to tell the public, look, they can call this agency anytime, Monday through Friday, and say, can you give me my water readings from 2013? And can you give me my water readings right now? And find out, and they say, well, yeah, Mr. So-and-so, you have cut your water consumption from 2013 rates by 18%. So now that person has a guideline that they can go by to get to that 28% that they need to do. But to sit there and say, well, it's okay if you water 3 days a week, 4 days a week, you got a big family. It doesn't work that way. We're all in this drought together. And I'm sorry, but if you don't know any more about water law than that, God help us, because you just fired the guy that did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Would it be appropriate to discuss that item first and then move the entire consent agenda except for the one that...
I have to step out on that. You want to do the first consent agenda first, or you want to... There was one bill I wanted to know how that was paid, $853,000 without money. Have you heard that already?
It doesn't need board approval, it needs board signature.
Okay, so the $853,000 bill we paid without actually coming on the agenda, is that correct, Mr. Council? And you paid it without the board signature, without board approval. I think that would be on our policy. Our policy has cutoffs at around $250,000 or $500,000, if I'm not mistaken. So I guess I'm wondering how is that $850,000 bill was paid without coming before the board?
The commitment and a choice that was made in the past and voted on, I believe.
That's the unfunded accrued liability that was paid to CalPERS that you approved by resolution through the new promissory note.
And the promissory note said we're going to do so many, I guess, fund certain things, but that doesn't say, it didn't say you're going to go pay that without our permission.
Would you explain to him how much it saved to do it that way, and how you chose to do it that way?
I know it's supposed to save money, but I understand protocol. Protocol is you bring a bill to us that large before you sign off.
You voted.
No, there was no specific vote on that $853,000 payment.
It was a budget. It was a budgeted payment. It was an approved loan. It was an approved use of funds. It had a board member signature on it.
That's not our policy to pay anything.
Could you refer me to the specific policy you're speaking about?
I do that if I have the policy book in front of me. But yeah, there's a policy book that says expenditures over this amount have to be approved.
And it did come to the board when we were restructuring the loans. Exactly, isn't that where it was put together, the restructuring of the loans?
I'm glad you're sitting down.
I don't see anything in here, Mr. Lansfire. All it requires says checks greater than $25,000 require at least one board member's signature. We met that.
And there's nothing it talks about, I know that I understand the $25,000 thing, but I also just understand anything over it's either $250 or $500. I think we
That was for budget appropriations, not for checks to be spent.
But we can just write a check, and it's done without board approval.
Well, it's been approved by the board in the budget process.
Under the policies, it would be inappropriate to enter into a contract for that amount without coming to the board. And that happened by resolution at a prior board meeting. And the board approved the commitment at that time.
Correct.
The writing of the check is governed by the policy regarding payment of checks, and that's 3040.2, as read by Mr. Arthur.
And the other question I have that also related to that is the budget has not been, the final budget has not been approved. It's been a final budget approved in the preliminary budget prior to June 30th as required to. And I reckon that the final budget be on the agenda next time, is that correct?
It's on the August 26th meeting.
And we're going to have some workshops before that, or where we at?
No, it's coming to the board as is.
Okay. That's the question I have about that. Check. No.
So we're back to the consent agenda, item A, B, C, E, and F.
I can't vote on that.
You can't vote on,
Yeah.
I can't vote on D, you can't vote on F.
It's maybe A, B, C.
A, B, C, and E. Entertain a motion to approve items A, B, C, and E.
No, I got a question. On E,
Yes, ma'am.
something about an expense report, an amount of 350, that's nothing compared with the say 35K we're talking about, but it says something about a trackless damage going to training in Sacramento. What happened?
I went into a parking lot, and when I went into the parking lot, It didn't look like the truck would fit through two beams that were in the way. I went straight and was going to turn down to go down to a different level, and the different level was another entrance to the parking area. I tried to back my truck up and make a turn, and when I made the turn, I hit one of the pillars, and there was $2,200 worth of damage done on one estimate, $1,900 damage on another, and I had it repaired for $350 that met my qualifications.
Okay, so, but you don't have anything in writing that showed that you actually did that in Sacramento?
I have a director that was with me.
Okay, so you want the district to pay
It was on district business, so the district insures.
Yeah, but for your inability to drive,
Point order.
you know, why should they have to pay for something that, I can see if somebody hit you
Okay,
out of your fault. I mean,
point order, I think we're done on that item. That item has to be discussed when he's not here.
D?
Yes, that's not the motion. The motion is A, B, C, and E.
It's, well,
So, just a second.
I think he has to leave the room when you start discussing it, that's all. Okay.
I'll second that motion.
Mr. Ryan, you motion, and Mr. Singleton, second. Any public discussion on items A, B, C, and E? Okay, call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
4-0.
D and a board secretary would then pay for
Board secretary is going to take over for item D. And
stay for proceedings.
All right, for item D.
I have a conflict of interest because it's dealing with me and an accident that I have, so I have to abstain from being in the vote.
We're not voting on it, we're wanting your answers.
This is a consent agenda. These are items that we're trying to get
All right.
approval, the final approval. These are items that have already come to the district. Correct me if I'm wrong, have been paid? No, these have not been paid? Okay. The check approvals and the vouchers have been paid. What we have is Mr. McKay's expense report.
Need a motion.
It would be appropriate to have a
Dated
motion in a
July
second.
16th.
I move that we approve the $350 payment.
Ladies and gentlemen, hold on, you'll get a chance for discussion.
After
the vote. We have to have right here.
If anybody else does that, do they get it paid for?
Die for lack of a second.
If I hit the parking structure out front, you guys gonna pay for my car to get fixed?
Excuse me.
I'm here to listen to your crap, so why can't you pay for me?
Point order.
It's appropriate to have a motion in a second and then invite
Prior
public discussion. Yes.
Mr. Lansky.
I made the motion. If there's no second, it dies for lack of second.
We have a second. Mr. Glenn seconds. All right, now we're open for public discussion.
Maybe I can say something before the public discussion will come. Because
Go ahead.
I did question, if I'm on district business in my vehicle, I actually have two insurances. That's how they rip you off. I have my own insurance and the district is also insuring me. And I thought that my own insurance would obviously be a primary insurance and the district secondary. That's not true. The district is primary and mine is secondary. Therefore, the district's insurance was to pay. It would cost more if we turned that in to the insurance and it would affect our rates. So the choice was to pay it rather than turn it into our insurance in relationship to deductible, those kind of things. That's how it was explained to me. And that kind of makes sense, even though we don't like it, it makes sense.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. The way I see this is that, you know, I've been to many seminars on district business, and I understand that if my car is sitting in the parking structure and gets vandalized, you know, the districts will pay for it, for the repairs. If I get hit by somebody, get rear-ended or somebody runs into me, then the districts will cover it. Same thing as if I get hurt, you know, on the thing like this. But, you know, I understand that Director McKay was backing up, didn't see the pole. It's happened to me before. I've run into things I didn't see. But the pole didn't run into him. He backed into the pole, and therefore I don't see the logic in the district paying for damages for a at-fault accident. That's how I perceive it. Maybe you can explain it to me, what the reasoning behind it, but I just don't think that the public should pay for this any more than they should pay for it if he rear-ended somebody, or if he gets a speeding ticket or something like that. The same thing. It's if he committed the action that caused the damage to his vehicle. It's unfortunate, but I don't think the public should pay for it.
I agree.
Anyone else?
One question. If Mr. McKay took his own vehicle to this meeting, water meeting, or whatever, did he get paid mileage? I used to get paid when I traveled from the company I worked for. I took my own vehicle, I got paid mileage.
All directors are paid mileage when they use
Okay.
their own vehicles.
According to the IRS, what they set up for taxes, the amount that he is paid in mileage covers insurance, wear and tear, everything. I think he's responsible.
Anyone else? All right. We have a call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. Mr. McKay?
Oh, good. I gotta go.
Yeah.
Chair will entertain a motion on item F. So good. Public discussion? No public discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. 3-0. Brings us to item 12.
Did I need to disclose the reason for the,
Yes.
reason I recused myself from that vote is the bill paid to Cross Harbor. Cross Harbor is owned by my brother and his wife.
Brings us to item 12, number 1, written communications. Any written communications? Number 2, request for future agenda items.
Stated,
Move to item 13, adjournment. Entertain a motion.